Good morning out there, everybody in Pip Town. How are we doing today? Theo? How are we doing? How does everybody feel about the Ghostbusters Brickpace event now that it's been going on for a couple of days? Where are you spending your gems? Have you spent any money yet? These are the things that we want to know while we take care of the morning build. Oh my goodness, it is a beautiful Sunday morning here in New York. But we are venturing into the wide world of Pip Town to see how we're doing here. Now, I do have some information to report on my own team. Darwin at 149 out of 150. Argenta at 147 out of 150. I have enough gold to upgrade one of them to 7 stars. I'm going to be going for Argenta first. She does more damage. She's a bit more useful, faster than Darwin. I like her more because she's a powerful, strong-willed woman. And we need more of those in this world. Jester Gogo, hello, sir. How are you doing? Theo going for Winston with the Ectopack currency, but farming Egon's node for better currency drop rates. I think, Theo, that this might be a smart idea, especially if you are looking at getting all 4 of the Ghostbusters. Now, obviously, without stockpiling into a single character, it's going to be harder for you to level up a single character. But to have a more well-rounded Ghostbuster team, Theo, I think you're doing the right thing here. Tio says to star up Darwin. Well, it just so happens that it will depend on how many tiles that we are able to get. Yesterday, I got to 149 Darwin tiles and then got 0 out of 5 Darwin tiles for the whole rest of the day. 0 out of 6. Sorry, 0 out of 6. So we'll see what happens when I actually try to star up either Argenta or Darwin. Let's see here. Vankman tiles today for the daily login. Excellent. Our Vankman is going to be relatively close to getting up to that 3-star level. Not all the way up there, though. I started my Brickpace this morning with the Ghostbusters by putting 4 uses into my Winston attempts. I'm going to go ahead and refill this energy once, and then I'm going to go for it again. I am still trying to unlock my Winstonator, at which point I will hopefully be able to finish out this Ghostbusters Brickpace event all the way through board number 3, but we'll see. I only need 4 more Winston tiles, getting very close. Okay, let's go in here and get the next set of Argenta tiles. Let's see if we get lucky and get 3. Oh, 0. Come on, give me 3 tiles. Oh, look at that! We got exactly 3 Argenta tiles. Tio, my man, you're great, but I'm putting my Argenta at 7 stars. Yes, this is my second 7-star character behind Cook Bart. Let's see the awesomeness. Oh, look at her glow. Look at that look on her face. She's so proud. She's just so proud. Princess Argenta, 7 stars, level 50, gear level 6. Darwin is going to be following her. I will have to save up some money so that I can get to him, but shouldn't be too much of a problem. I should be able to get him on the next Pegleg's Treasure Timed event. I think it's amazing how some of the events are just so superior to the other ones, right? So the Pegleg's Treasure event, obviously, because of the sheer amount of coin that is required in this game to level up and put different equipments on your characters and all that kind of jazz. And then additionally, we have the event that is currently running, the Missing Materials event, giving us all the ability mats that we need to level up the skills of our characters, and level 1 and level 2 set building materials as well. I think this has got to be easily the second most useful event. Some of the events where you can get Explore Aurora tiles are also particularly helpful, but then there's some of them like some of the set events where you can get tiles for the sets that are the basic sets that very few people actually need anymore. Some of the ones that give you gear for some of the other characters that you kind of can farm on your own. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. The events are always great. If you have unlocked them all the way, then they are, of course, an easy source of relatively free stuff. So you can't complain about them too much. But some of them are definitely more useful than others. Let's go ahead and spend some energy to get our chef tiles. Chef, also ready for the level up. Woof! When am I going to get all of the money? Now this is going to require 84 energy to clear out. So we're going to skip over to Headley, who requires 72. Remember, we are getting Headley because he is easy to farm as part of our castle team. Then let's go ahead and continue to clear out these sets. I still need two, count them, two of the blue skateboards. Ooh, I got one. Excellent. I need one more before I am ready to start up my hiker to the next gear level. So let's see what we got in here today. Probably should have done the goodie bag first, as there's always a chance that it will give you Argenta or Darwin tiles. Now, if I were to get Darwin tiles, that would be pretty nice. But I get 7 Cactus Girl tiles. I'll take it, but I don't need it. We do have enough Ectopack currency for Winston, Senor Winston. Only one more Winston tile necessary to get the Courage Building Ghostbuster tank. Woof! All right, coming in here to the general store. Oh my goodness, we got all the skateboards that we need now. Fantastic. Brickspedition, saving up this currency to get the tier 3 set tools. We're going to need plenty of them. It's basically the only place to get them. So we're saving them there. Going into our guild shop, our arena store, our master store. Don't need anything there yet. Let's come in and handle the challenges. Oh yeah, look at these ability material challenges for the day. Clearing out tier 6. Man, I have so many ability materials right now. Whew. Gear challenge number 3. We need tank and healer for this. Have I leveled up tanks and healers to a point where I can do this one? So these are my strongest tanks and healers, huh? Alright, well, I don't need the chance to get one more binocular right now. Theo says, you can do it! Alright, fine. We'll give it a shot and see if it works. Let's see. The set that I'm going to be using with this team is probably just the Lighthouse set. Raft Raiders, no. Island, no. I could also maybe use the Guarded Inn. But this is, let's see. Castle Hero gains taunt. Whenever a hero, at the end of a hero's turn, they have a chance for payback. Incandescent Owl. Thank you, sir, for reading the description of the video. For those of you who just joined without reading the description, what he's referring to is that in the description of this stream, I put that some love the Brickpace event and some loathe the Brickpace event. Come and share your opinions with me. And Incandescent Owl is saying, what are you talking about? Everyone hates it. Yeah. Sadly, I know that that's kind of true. I just didn't want to put it as the stream description because I want people who actually do like it to feel like they have a place to share their opinion. I think that it's important that, well, I think that it's important that Gameloft and LEGO hear our constructive feedback about what they're putting into the game. And obviously that means that when we don't like something, we have to let them know that we don't like it. And in order to be more constructive, we need to also say why we don't like it. But I think it's also important to recognize if people do like something and to make sure that they are invited to share that opinion should they have one. Now, I know that what you are just commenting on is the fact that so many people hate it. And obviously if somebody liked it, I'm sure that you would be perfectly willing to accept their opinion as their own opinion and say, great, man, I'm glad you like it. I think it's terrible, but you're welcome to have your opinion. So I know you're not trying to throw shade or anything like that, but yeah, I just wanted to give people an opportunity to come in and say like, hey man, I think it's kind of nice. And then I could go, why do you think it's kind of nice? Because Incandescent Owl, I share your opinion. I think it's pretty bad. I have a video for it that I am going to be releasing. Actually, I was supposed to release it later yesterday afternoon, but I forgot we had a birthday to attend and I forgot to do it. So I will be releasing that video today after this stream. It's already uploaded. I just have to edit the descriptions and put it out there. And basically I go through all of my feelings about it. I discussed a lot of these yesterday. I don't know if you were here yesterday, but I'm sure that for the most part, they're probably the same opinions that you have. But anyway, getting back to this, let's see. If we use the lighthouse with this team, chance to gain accuracy up, don't care. At the end of a role model's turn, there are only one role model on my team right now. Whenever a city hero deals damage, they have a chance to clear a random debuff from themselves. That's only 2 characters. So I think the Guarded Inn actually might be better. A better makeup for this team right now. Alright, well, let's give it a shot and see what happens. The damage of my team is insanely low for this battle. So if we are able to do it, it will take forever. Okay, only 5 enemies to defeat here. We have to start with Explorer Aurora because of Explorer Aurora and the Ice Glider. So, we're going to use our Hiker to keep everybody nice and healthy at the get. I think I'm actually going... I don't think I'm going to taunt. I think I'm going to actually remove some of her buffs and then just do the best I can. Oh my goodness, everybody just picking on Salisbury steak today. Let's give everybody attack up. This should help us deal some damage. Oh, unless Explorer Aurora dodges because she's a butt. You're a butt, Explorer Aurora. A butt, I say. Oh my goodness, look at this. We've got a taunt already. And he's got buff immunity on him. So I guess we're actually going to taunt with Valiant, since his damage is the lowest. I need for my hikey pants. Oh, it didn't remove a buff. A debuff, I mean. Okay. Valiant's gonna take all the damage. And we will switch over a taunt to Construction Worker Sal. Hiker got his heal ready again. We'll go ahead and use this. I am going to save Poppy's heal, I think, until somebody dies. Because I'm pretty sure at least one person is going to. And then I will basically just continue to hammer around with it. There it is. Until she gets a res off. The damage done by my team is so low that we will have no shortage of attempts to actually get a heal off. Okay, number 2 death. Hoo-wee! You know, without the Highwayman, they would have nothing. But yes, I can totally see how Explore Aurora makes this entire battle, like, completely irrelevant. Okay, well, this is bad. I don't even have enough damage on my team to kill Explore Aurora. by herself. So this is going to be... Okay. She brings 0 people back to life because she's the most unreliable. And we're out. I beat this node with Aurora and Hiker with Locust, Bernie, and Valiant. It was pretty tough, says EMZ. Did it yesterday with Sal, Aurora, Burnibus, Locust, and Hiker. Locust provides the damage you lack. His ultimate is a lifesaver and his attack up. Oh yeah, I completely agree with you guys. The reason I had been avoiding it was just because all of the damage on my team is so low for all the characters that I have. We'll see with that space rework coming out, what they decide to do. I have, specifically in regards to Locust, I mean, there's no way he's getting a rework. I just mean with, because they are making a space rework, obviously it means that they will be promoting the space characters in some particular fashion, and I'll be interested to see in what way they are promoting the space characters. All right, let's come in here to the arena. We got knocked down to 64 overnight. Let's see what the lowest spot is that we can try to take here. It looks like 54 is the lowest one they want to give me access to. So let's take a look at this team. Burnibus, Redbeard, Highwayman, Magisto, and the Jester. All right, I think we're gonna take out this team first, focusing on Burnibus. Now, the first thing that I want to do is try to take him out without him countering and healing at every turn. Now, the reason why I'm going to focus on Burnibus first is because I have no choice. He's going to taunt as soon as it gets to be his turn, and he's relatively fast, so he's going to get that taunt pretty much right away anyway. So, we're going to put the Dizzy on him to prevent him from countering. Okay, now we can stun him on Redbeard's turn, deal some extra damage. I'm not sure we really want to, though. I am going to play it kind of safe, toss out the heal on Argenta here. Now, let's see. Do I clear all of these? Do I stun? I think I'm actually just going to try and disable, disarm, fail to disarm. So let's give everybody attack up. Ooh, Darwin takes a big hit, but great. We are able to get rid of Burnibus. This might put Darwin down right here. It did not, but he got put down on his follow-up turn. Let's see. Jester Gogo is probably going to taunt on his turn. So, what we want to do... I'm not going to be able to get Magisto down. I can do Salty Seas here. But I think I want to try and lock Magisto out. Nope. Okay, so that's 2 disarms that fail to go off. So, great. And now, Magisto is definitely going to taunt on his turn. So let's just go ahead and get started fighting him anyway. Okay. Now we have some decisions to make here. I think I'm actually going to Salty Seas. I'm going to save Redbeard's ultimate, have Valiant finish off Gogo, but this is so that I can take the disarm off of Cook Bart. Great. Highwayman finishes off Valiant. That is okay. Argenta's going to get the miss. We knew that coming in. Now I'm going to take the heal on Argenta and give my ultimate to Redbeard. All right. Ooh, this is terrible. Okay, if I try to apply the dizzy, she's definitely going to die because everyone's going to counter. So unfortunately, we have very little choice here. And Magisto gets his ability, his Master Blaster off again. Good lord. What a terrible, terrible stroke of terrible, terrible luck. Okay, he takes off all of the negative status effects. Argenta gets knocked out. We have miss on everyone. Wow, dude, this Highwayman is just wrecking my life. This is about the worst battle I've ever done. I am... Oh, and another dodge. Yes. Let's not forget about the dodge chance. Wow. Okay. That was embarrassingly terrible. And I'm sorry that you all had to watch that. But that was an epic failure. So, sorry. What did we learn from this? Well, you know, that dodge is always fun. And we go into the Brickspedition. Tio, I completed tier 6 of the gear challenge with 3-star Hiker, Aurora, Basil, Locust, and Valiant. Nice, dude. That's excellent. Don't hesitate in the arena. You waste the time when you do that. Incandescent Owl, I actually am never pressed for time in the arena. If I lose, it's because I actually lose. I never run out of time. And Theo, this is why you avoid Ghostbuster teams like the plague. Yeah, man, it's real. It's a really tough team. You should really be using Redbeard's stun. When you stun a unit, their passives nullify. That means Go-Go's healing. And Bernie's counter. Yes, EMZ, I am aware of that. The problem with that was, in that last battle, Redbeard never got a chance to stun anybody because it requires that they either be a Justice hero or have 3 buffs. So the only time I could have used it would have been on my first go-round with Dragon Master Burnibus, but it didn't make a difference because he was already locked out of countering from Argenta's Dizzy. So what I should have done actually was use Argenta's pistol and then just dealt with his counter for the first couple rounds until we got to Redbeard and then stunned him with Lucy. But if I try it again, that's what I'll end up doing. TO, hashtag delete timer in arena. We can't get rid of the timer because it would allow people to sit on their spots, which is a bad thing, but they do definitely need to rework it. Maybe something like, as long as you're clicking a button, the timer resets to like 1 minute. You know what I mean? Like, give the arena like a 1 minute timer or something, or maybe a 20-second timer. And as long as you're just clicking a button within 20 seconds, which should be plenty of time, honestly, I mean, like, sit there and count 20 seconds to yourself. Then it just allows you to keep going. And I know that that means that you could stretch out a battle and make it last a really long time, but I don't know. That might be better than having like a full-on timer in the arena. But anyway, we're in Brickspedition now. So let's see what we have to fight today. We're going to come down here at the bottom and grab this ash tile. Level 26 gear level 3, level 29 gear level 3, up to the middle, level 50 gear level 6. We are then going to go up and grab this fire station, which requires explorers, great, and then have to come down here, level 38 gear level 5 in the middle. Now, moving across, I will come down for Magisto's tower, requires recommended 42 gear 5, followed by another 42 gear 5, followed by a pirate and castle required team for DigiJ's Cyber Dragon, going up to level 50 gear 6, and then up to level 51 gear 6. Great. So all the requirements are fine. Let's go backwards and look at our opponents. We have our collectible team at the end of the arena today. This is going to be easy. We're going to be coming at them from this angle. This will be the hardest team that we fight all day, probably. Coming down here, we've got this standard Brickspedition team with a couple of rezzers, but shouldn't be too hard. This one won't be too hard. This one won't be too hard. This one's going to be fine. Coming up from the fire station, again, will be fine. Again, here will be fine. Coming from the bottom is all somewhat irrelevant because it's all super cheese. All right, 12 guild allies for the day. So we will start using them right from the beginning. Because we have so many. I will actually probably use my Scarlet ally on that second to last node today. I think having an extra tank in there is going to be more helpful than adding her onto that final collectible stage. So I think we'll be good. Okay, let's see here. Who am I going to start with? Firefighter Ash. No damage for you. No taunt for you. Now Primo is going to get his taunt off next. So we'll end him, followed by Kartovsky, and they got one attack off. Alrighty then. So we're gonna throw in Kai here because we can. Okay. Now we know that you're about to get a turn, so we'll take you out. And then we know that the dummy's going to taunt. We'll prevent Kai from getting his turn. And then we'll take out Magisto and the zombie. Oh, and the zombie gets no res. I accept this. Firefighter Ash. Yet another character I have ready to level up, but am short on dough. Okay, our first level 50 team. Oh man, somebody's got a Vankman in here. I think I'm going to use Vankman for that final collectible node. I don't have any magical characters on my team, so he gets like no synergy, but I'm going to use him anyway because he's there. Do you think we will get at least Winston and Egon to 3 or 4 stars? Jester, if you are willing to spend your gems for extra event energy, then I have absolutely no doubt that you will be able to get Winston and Egon both to 3 or 4 stars. However, I think that you will have to use gems in order to do it, especially if you want to get both of them up that high. Okay. I guess it doesn't really matter who I go for first. The question is whether or not to use his attack or his heal. We'll go with the attack. Dole out some AoE from our gents. Take down Chicken Suit Man. All of their healers are left. Take out the healers. Now we'll get our heal off and auto battle through the rest of this one. So, Jester, it's worth pointing out that Winston and Egon unlock at 2 stars, right? 30 tiles required. So that means that you will then have to get another, I guess, 85 tiles, right? Am I doing that math right? Somebody correct me if I'm doing that math wrong. In order to get them to 4 stars, I think the total number of tiles to get a character to 4 stars is 100. I want to say 115. What's up, Cosmic Bro? How you doing? And I think that the only way for you to get 115 tiles of either of these characters is definitely to be spending on event refreshes. Now, you could get lucky and just get tons and tons of tiles from them from their hard nodes within the Brickpace event. The Brickpace event also is running longer than the average Brickpace event does, so that also might add to it a little bit. So the reality is it's hard to answer your question correctly, but my guess is you're going to have to spend your gems on Brickpace energy refreshes if you want to get your Ghostbusters to 3 and 4 stars. Okay. Cosmic comes in, and his first contribution is stupid Ghostbusters Brickpace. What's up, buddy? How are you doing? But yes, we were discussing that before. Does anybody have anything positive to say about the Ghostbusters event? And the only reason why I ask that question is I think that if we are going to try to get the ear of Gameloft, right, on making some of these changes, which we know we have, because we know that they made some changes after the Governor Tierney Brickpace event that got us to where we are now. But I have a feeling that part of the reason why we are again in a position why so many people dislike the new Brickpace event is because with the last one, all we did was say we didn't like it, right? And we said why we didn't like it, but with very few things offered as suggestions on how to improve it, or very few parts of like, okay, well, let me tell you, here's what we liked, so keep this, but here's what we didn't like, so remove this. All we just said was, we hated this, we hated this, we hated this, without saying what we did like about it. Cosmic says, positive, the new environment is nice. I agree with you. I think that they did a really good job designing that. The new map is really cool. The slime on the city buildings, excellent. Everybody's liking this new design. That's actually very, very true. Whoever their graphic designer is killing it, honestly. That guy or girl or team, whoever they are, it's a team. It's got to be a giant team of people. But that team is killing it. They're doing a great job. Like that they included unboxed characters in the event store, even if they're mega expensive. Yes, Theo, I agree with you. I think everybody thinks it's a good thing that they put all 4 Ghostbusters and the set into the event store. Everybody seems to universally appreciate that. And then, of course, people have complaints about the price of them. I have a feeling people are always going to complain about the price, unless they were like, 100 ectopacks for 3 tiles. But so I still think that they have a lot of work to do on getting the price right for the majority of the player base. But yes, everybody agrees having all of them in there seems like a major win. And then Cosmic says, wondering if Brickpace as an event model has bad scaling for multiple chapters. I kind of think it does, and I kind of think it doesn't. To be more specific, I think that the Brickpace is very, very clearly designed for absolute beginners to the game. Essentially saying, listen, if you're brand new, we're about to release some premium content, but we don't want you to feel like you're completely locked out of it just because you're brand new. And all of the people that have been playing longer than you have an advantage because they've been playing longer than you. So we're going to make it kind of sort of available for everybody. I think that that is good. Obviously, the counter to that is, well, but then it just ends up being way too easy for your advanced players without actually providing your advanced players with some great achievement that they can get to reward them for being advanced players. And I think that that actually is kind of a problem, right? So we make the event accessible to everybody. That's really, really good. But in making the event accessible to literally everybody, it means that all of the advanced players have relatively little to gain based on their advanced status, right? And if you are an advanced participant of anything, you want to be able to showcase your prowess in that thing. And I think that the Brickpace format, the way it is now, denies us that. So, getting back to your point about the event model having bad scaling for multiple chapters, I overwhelmingly agree with you. I think that the model itself could lend itself quite easily to having appropriate scaling. I think that they just have to spend a little bit more work getting it right. Let's see. Eduardo. Yeah, I mean, listen. You don't have to apologize for bringing that up on on the stream. It's totally fine. People have been talking about it in the Discord chat a lot. For those of you who are, not up with the Discord chat, what Eduardo is pointing out is that the way that they designed the slime looks like penises to a lot of people. And that, for a kid's game is not something you want to see. Now, personally, I think it's pretty clear that it's slime, and I think that the kids playing the game are gonna know that it's supposed to be slime. Kids have a greater imagination than adults do, after all. It's an unfortunate reality about the world. So they'll get into it, they'll see the ghosts, they know it's Ghostbusters, they know what the Ghostbusters mean, even if they haven't seen the movie from the 90s, because, they weren't born yet. But I think that comment on what they look like is, I agree with you. I think it's more of a silly thing than anything else. It doesn't really bother me. I find it kind of humorous. Would I prefer it if they looked a bit more, I don't know, mundane, let's go with? Yes, I would. But all things considered, we know that's not what they were trying to do, and I find it funnier than anything else that they do kind of look that way. Do you think it was good that they gave us free 10 tiles for each hard node in the Brickpace? Jester, yes, I do. I commented on this a little bit the other day with the pricing structure for some of the packs that are in the store. So this is the thing that I was talking about that happens where when you start along a journey, you are then more inclined to want to finish the journey. So by giving us 10 tiles, they have incentivized us to actually play the event. We've got a little something. We want it to account for something. Or rather, they've given us a little gift, and we want that gift to mean something. And in order to do that, we have to play that event, and we have to unlock that character. And I think that giving people that impetus to play, I think that's a good thing. I think that the way that they have then priced their bundles around that is a bad thing, because it's kind of predatory. It's a predatory pricing structure, in my opinion. Oh man, I wish I could have found another P for that. It is a predatory pricing. I needed another P so that I could get the alliteration in there. Somebody provide me with another P. Predatory pricing production. Fix that for me. Somebody out there fix that for me. Come up with something good, because I think it could be funny. But anyway, yes, I think it's good that they started off with the 10 tiles of the character. I think that it gives us incentive to play. It really gives us some agency in the event. It makes it say, hey, I have a little bit of stake in here. I can gain something from this. It makes me feel like they acknowledge that the starting point of grinding a character is hard, and so they are going to help us out a little bit. I like all of that stuff. I think if they gave us a realistic timeline to when the events would return, we wouldn't feel as much like we're missing out. Yes, Theo, that is actually a very, very big point, I think. One of the biggest problems with a Brickpace event like the Ghostbusters, the way the Ghostbusters is set up, is that we know, just by sheer number crunching, we know that if you want to get your Ghostbusters even up to 5 stars, much less 7 stars, but if you want to get them up even to 5 stars, you're going to have to shell out a lot of money. Not in-game money, actual money. And so the problem with that is that it makes it feel like the Ghostbusters are only really there for all of the whales who want to get them. But if they let us know when they were going to be returning these events, then we might say, okay, listen, I'm willing to spend a couple bucks here and there. I'm willing to save up my gems here and there, pay for gems here and there to get the different parts of the game that appeal to me at any given time. And I know that this Brickpace event is not going to be the one where I get the Ghostbusters because I am unwilling to spend as much money as is required to get them. However, I can look at your calendar and see that this Brickpace event is coming in 3 months. It's going to return in 3 months. That allows me the opportunity to say, all right, I'm going to save up a little bit until then. It also gives me a reason to go, okay, well, I'm going to play this event this time to the best of my ability so that I can be ready next time when it comes back. Or I'm actually going to be willing to put in some money this time because I know that the event is going to come back, so I know that my money will not have been wasted if I do it now. Does that make sense? So I agree completely on the realistic timeline that Theo was talking about, and I think it could only help by them giving it to us. After 3 days of farming Winston, Cosmic, you've only gotten 5 tiles? Man, I only need like 1 tile left to unlock him now. The game is rated Theo, predatory pricing point. Yes, excellent. It's a predatory pricing point. Theo, that's great. Let's see, quite a big part of the problem is that it could take 4 reruns of the event before you could get all the characters to 5 stars, and as a free-to-play will never take them to 7 stars. Cosmic, this is true. There's an interesting thing to discuss here about free-to-play players versus the rest of the community, whether you are a dolphin or a whale or a mega whale or whatever, right? Anybody who spends money, even if it's 99 cents, which it's impossible to spend 99 cents on this game because everything is way overpriced. But there is this constant question, and everybody has and is going to have different opinions on who these games are actually made to appeal to. Because without the free-to-play player base, then the game community shrinks just exponentially. Because people who are willing to play your game for free is basically anybody. But people who are going to pay to play your game is a much smaller category. However, if nobody pays to play your game, you can't afford to run your game. So anytime you make something, you have to try to walk this fine line to appeal to as many different people as you can. You have to be able to appeal to the free-to-play players who are going to keep your community strong. But you also have to appeal to the people who are going to be willing to spend some money because, well, you've got an entire team of people that you have to pay in order to keep your game up and running, right? So it's a very, very hard balance to find. And I think here that Cosmic is bringing out a really, really good point, which is how do we actually account for the free-to-play players with new content? More specifically, hold on a second, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Ooh, Jester's not going to taunt. Brilliant. Okay. So more specifically, what I'm getting at is we know that if we lock the Ghostbusters behind a paywall, just 100% behind a paywall, that the free-to-play players are never going to get the Ghostbusters. And we don't want that to happen because then the Ghostbusters become a pay-to-win situation. And pay-to-win, everybody hates pay-to-win, right? So we do want to definitely avoid that. But if we make it take too long for the free-to-play players, I'm going to call them free-to-players because free-to-play players is a bit much to say. If we make it take too long for them to get the Ghostbusters, then by the time the Ghostbusters are actually eligible for the free-to-players, then they've become irrelevant because of power scaling and all of that kind of stuff that goes into making a game, right? So I think that running an event maybe, say, 3 times, depending on how long is between each event, is enough for the people who are willing to spend money to feel like they've gotten something out of their money, that they've gotten a little advance because they're willing to pay, but also not so long that the free-to-players feel like it's all being taken away from them by the time they're finally eligible for it. I think that's one of the hardest things to actually account for in all of these games, to be honest with you. Let's see. While I was saying all of that, why don't they quickly change the rate to +1 or +2? Because to be honest, it's very unfair to get one node for each 25 energy we spend. 7-star Darwin now. Yannick? No, I got 7-star Argenta because I ended up actually getting her 150 tiles before I got Darwin. Yesterday, I got Darwin to 149 after his first glyph hunt node, and then his second glyph hunt node gave me 0 tiles for the whole day. 0 tiles. They spend so much time designing new events to get more money from whales, but put little effort into fixing major problems like bricks, Altergeist. Yes, this I 100% agree with you about. Brickspedition is here, and even after the Ghostbusters are gone, the Brickspedition event will still be here, so let's put a little bit more time and energy into that, right? Completely agree with you. 100% agree with you. Ooh, this is gonna be perfect to get a nice little heal out. Great. The next update needs to have little monetization, fix everything mechanically, game modes, raids, bricks, arena. For once, bring free-to-players some content, since our last free-to-play content was bricks, and that was 3 months ago. When are the content creators gonna get some word on the CCP, which was announced 3 months ago? Cosmic, I think that's actually gonna be coming very soon. There have been some announcements made to that effect, but we don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but I think it's going to happen pretty soon. All right, Cosmic, thanks for stopping in for a minute, my man. I'll see you later. Make a meme about LeQuay. Do we need to make a meme about LeQuay? I feel like LeQuay's very existence is memeable. And maybe they release an extra star level of unboxed characters when they repeat the event, so up to 5 stars. Oh, well, Theo... Oh, that's right. So, unboxed only repeats if you have not completed it beforehand, right? So, what is it? Like, I was able to complete 100% of Hank's unboxed event, so that won't repeat for me. I think that that's their whole idea of the unboxed event is like you get the character at a base level, and once you have it, you don't do this anymore. So I think that that's fine, to be honest with you. Doesn't really bother me all that much. I think that the bigger issue is like the repeating of the Brickpace events that some of the other people were bringing up. Okay, hold on a second. I need to switch this back to here and then put... Now I'm going to use my buddy Scarlet because this is the hardest team that I'm going to be facing in this entire map. That way it caps so that there's still a pay-to-win element, but it unwinds over a longer time. Theo, I think that I think that that's actually a very good idea. Is that to unwind, as you put it, the pay-to-win element of the game. I think that that's a good idea that everybody could get behind to some degree. I think it's the speed at which that happens that is like the major point of consideration, or would have to be the major point of consideration, right? Because we actually need to know how quickly a lot of these things are going to repeat in order to know whether or not it's worth it to invest in them. So I'm a big fan of the whole calendar idea, getting the big calendar of events out, focusing on their timeline to let us know when they think things are coming. Personally, if that would be the thing that I would want to see fixed first, before Brickspedition, before anything else, is the actual communication pipeline. Because I think a lot of people will end up being appeased by knowing when things are coming back, right? This Ghostbusters event is incredibly expensive. It is. We know that. But we might not complain about it as much if we knew how often it was going to repeat. Yeah, it's expensive, but if it repeated every 2 months, we'd be like, all right, fine, I'm just going to take longer to get my stuff. But if it repeats once a year, then we're like, oh, this is really expensive. Way, way, way too expensive. You know what I mean? Yannick, I assume you're referring to what I said about getting 0 Darwin tiles on his node. Yes, that was super, super unlucky. I was very, very surprised. It's not the first time it's happened to me, but it's all right. It'll take an extra day for me to get him. He's not a make or break. I really don't need to have them until the Peg Legs treasure event comes back. I have yet to memorize the actual event cadence, so I'm not entirely sure when that's going to return. Do you think we'll get a Halloween theme in Pip Town for October? They've got to. They've got to. I think it's a little bit weird because they decided to do Spooky and the Ghostbusters over the summer. So it'll feel kind of like we just did this, but at the same time, they gotta do something for Halloween. I think maybe it'll be a little different. I think there'll be a lot more skeletons. It'll probably be very like Willa based, you know what I mean? But I would imagine that they're gonna do something for Halloween. The Spooky Heroes, this is an interesting one to me, right? They reworked Basil and Willa, and then they had the Basil Brickpace event, and then they just kind of went away. You know what I mean? There was nothing else with them. You either got Basil and Willa, or you didn't get either one, because there wasn't a reason to farm Basil unless you had Willa, and vice versa. And then the rest of the Spooky team was still locked behind this, well, actually a wall of they're just not available in the game, to be completely honest. You couldn't get the zombie, right? Where do you get the Spooky Girl from? So it's like kind of weird. They released the rework of these two characters without any sort of follow-up for it, which feels, I don't know. It felt very, very strange to me. So I'll bet over Halloween that we get a lot more Spooky Hero love in order to sort of rebalance that. They might bring back the Basil event. I think if they were going to, that would be an opportune time to do it. I think enough people have finally started to get enough 7-star characters that they are starting to get some master currency to start getting in there and get some Willa tiles. Obviously, if you're a new player, this hasn't happened for you, but the game has been out long enough that enough people are starting to farm Willa very, very slowly. So I think by Halloween, it would be an excellent time for them to bring that all back. Okay, I'm going to throw Vankman into my team here just for funsies because I don't really need anyone on the team to help me defeat these collectibles, but we're going to play around with them anyway. Let's see, in Brickspedition, the new tile is just Garmadon, or do we get more new tiles for other characters? Jester, if you're referring to the Garmadon tile that you get at the end of each Brickspedition board, then it's just Garmadon. The rework seemed to really only affect enemy battles and 0.1% of players who have Mega Whaled. Theo, you're talking about the Basil and Willa rework? Yeah, completely agree with you. It has changed absolutely nothing about the way I play the game. It hasn't changed anything about the people that I see in the arena. It hasn't actually changed the Brickspedition. It's just that when I see those characters in Brickspedition, they just do something a little different now. But yeah, as it affects my ability to play the game, absolutely nothing. Okay, we are going to start with the crash test dummy because he's going to taunt and make me fight him anyway. So this will reduce pep by 50%. Nice. This will call another person to assist. I'm going to reduce his pep. And then finish taking him down. Ooh, but first we're going to heal Mixmaster Beard. Okay, we will be taking out the Chicken Man next. I am going to use the Hiker's Heal now, because Redbeard seems to continue to get targeted quite a bit. Oh, of course they pull the weakest attack of my team to assist. I feel like that happens all the time. Okay, fitness instructor, while she has the dodge up, we're going to take out the hiker instead. No double attack. No lockout. Man. Bad RNG today. Did get the assist from Redbeard. That's good. I think I'm actually going to focus on the zombie first now. I usually use the zombie for last because he's essentially like you essentially have to kill the character twice every time. But let's try it a little differently and see what happens. I will save Redbeard's ultimate for the next collectible team that comes out. All right, there is the zombie. Back in action. Let's take him to the curb. Gonzo. All right. Now we'll just use all basic abilities. Just refresh everybody's go. As we get into this next team. Now, do we have enough people that will act before the Yeti that we can take out the Yuppie first? It looks like we do. I would love to be able to take out the Highwayman first. Unfortunately, ooh. Oh no, I gotta take out the Yuppie first, because even if I kill the Highwayman first, then the Yuppie is going to taunt. So let's see. If their pep is reduced to 0, they get stunned. I think I'm gonna do this to the Yeti and stun him. That's great. So now we have 2 turns that I don't have to worry about the Yeti. Okay, Venkman, I like you. You are very useful to me. Now, I definitely have enough time to clear out somebody else. I'm gonna try and clear out Cactus Girl. Theo, yeah, it seemed like it was such a big thing with its own patch note. I imagine you're talking about Basil and Willa, right? Yeah, I mean, they made such a big announcement, like such a giant release announcement about that. You're absolutely right. It really did feel like it was supposed to be a very big deal. And then it just didn't really account for anything. I mean, yeah, they released a lot of PDFs for that event with new backgrounds that were being released and upcoming spooky changes, not to mention the 2 characters themselves that were being featured. Yeah, that was a pretty big release that amounted to very little. Jester Gogo, who should I farm from the whole Brickpace store? So, that is a personal preference for you, but I'll go into it in 1 second here. Let me add people to the excavation. Want to make sure that I don't forget. We add every single person, even though we don't need to add every single person. We'll add every single person who has a matching tag, because there is an achievement for this that you get Magisto tiles. I've already gotten that achievement, but it's good to showcase it for you guys, so in case you haven't received that achievement yet, that you get in the habit. So tomorrow, all heroes will gain defense up, all heroes will gain 15% max health, and all heroes will gain 2 stacks of heal over time. Brilliant. Okay, so let's go into the Brickspedition store, see if we can answer this question for Jester. Who should I farm in the Brick... Oh, sorry, you said Brickpace store. So you're talking about the event store then, right? So Jester, your question is, who should I farm from the whole Brickpace store? If you are going to get all 4 of the Ghostbusters, then you need to spread out what you're paying in ectopacks across all the Ghostbusters as you need them. It's also really important to keep in mind how many Ecto 1 tiles you have, because you want to get it to at least 4 stars, because you want to be able to unlock all the things that it does. Assuming that you are not a whale and therefore not going for the full Ghostbusters team, then you will either want to choose Winston if you want to focus on getting another tank onto your team who generates courage. That's the main thing about Winston, is that he is a tank, he generates his own courage, and he reduces the amount of damage that he takes when he has courage. So, If you are, for example, building up your fire station, which I am, as I mention on the stream all the time, then Winston will be the one that you will want to farm. If you have a techie team, a very tech-heavy team, then you're going to want to go with Egon. Egon is the one that you should farm if you're running, for example, Zane. A lot of the space characters are techie characters. I think Egon will probably be very useful for the upcoming space rework. If you have a team that focuses around tech elements, you're going to want Egon. Egon also has the ultimate ability for the Ghostbuster team. So if you are farming a full Ghostbuster team, then you're definitely going to want Egon. Of course, you're going to be getting all of them, but you're definitely going to be wanting to focus on Egon a bit. Venkman. Venkman has the strongest attack in the game, period. His raw attack power is the highest in the game, I should say. The Highwayman still does the most damage when you factor in all of the skills and all of the changes that he gets when he's in stealth, plus the fact that he is a lot faster, which means that he will be going more often than Venkman does. It works out roughly that the Highwayman will go 3 times to every 2 turns that Venkman gets. So, Venkman also gets synergy with magical characters. So if you're running a castle team with Magisto, for example, then Venkman might work pretty well on your team. Other magical characters include Willa, so if you are whaled enough that you have a decent Willa and some of the other spooky characters that count as magical, then Venkman is going to be a good addition there. Venkman's actually a pretty solid addition no matter what. Because he is such a solid attacker, he just gets an extra bonus if magical people assist him. Cool. Ray is really great if you are battling spooky characters or have spooky characters on your team. So Ray, honestly, I think Ray is probably the weakest of the 4 because of the number of people who actually deal with or run a spooky team. Because that number of people is so low, then Ray is probably the last one that you're going to want to farm, because that's where his real synergies shine. If you do have a spooky team, or you're looking for a spooky team, then Ray is going to be the one that you're going to want the most. I feel like that was kind of a comprehensive answer without actually going into the real nitpicky stuff of what all of their different skills and abilities do. So let me know if that was enough of an answer for you, and if not, then I can go in and look at them more individually. Theo, yes, I do have a streaming schedule. Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday at 9 a.m. New York time. That's Eastern. I think we're in daylight savings time right now. So right now I think it's Eastern daylight savings time, but 9 a.m. New York time, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday is when I'm streaming. And let's see. That was a good answer. Are the Ghostbusters good at a low level, 2 to 3 stars? Because they all have very high health and damage. Good, obviously, Jester here. Good is a relative term. I would venture for, instead of wondering if they are good, I would try to answer the question of whether or not they are useful, right? So, more specifically, every single day, you're going to come into the game and play essentially the same content with minor variations, right? So we go into the challenges. The challenges all require certain different teams, tank and healer teams, attacker teams, or support characters for Gear Challenge 2. So, you can complete all of these challenges without the Ghostbusters, with readily available free-to-farm teams. People have done it. People continue to do it. If you get the Ice Glider and Explorer Aurora, you can farm basically any of the PvE content that you want to, with the exception of some of these challenges on which you wouldn't be able to use Explorer Aurora, right? So, do you need the Ghostbusters for the challenges? The answer is no. Events. Skipping all of the obvious Ghostbuster events, you have all of the events that refresh every single day. You've got Pegleg's Treasure, which requires the pirates. You've got missing materials, which requires your city team. You've got a castle requirement. You've got a space requirement. But do you have a Ghostbuster requirement? No. So you do not need the Ghostbusters for the events. Do you need the Ghostbusters for the sets? For using your brick separators? No. Do you need the Ghostbusters for Glyph Hunt, Piptown United, or Monolith Waste? No. You can complete all of these at 3 stars at the highest level without having to shell out for the Ghostbusters. You can do it with just about any free-to-play team if you level it up high enough for literally all 3 of these campaigns. So do you need them here? No. What are the other quests for the day? Oh, so that basically leaves us with the events, with the brick. That eventually leaves us with Brickspedition and the arena. Do you need the Ghostbusters to finish out the Brickspedition? No, not really. I don't think that the anti-stealth synergy is enough to battle those level 60 ninjas at the end of Brickspedition, and there are other teams that people have put together that already can do that anyway. So you don't need them for that. And in the arena, 2 to 3 stars, no. 2 to 3 stars, even if they were at gear level 6, level 50. If your Ghostbusters are still at 2 to 3 stars, they're going to get absolutely hammered by just an average arena team, especially on defense. So, do you need the Ghostbusters? Unequivocally, the answer is no. There is nothing that they do that we don't already have another solution for. However, if you are new to the game and want to get Ghostbusters, you might as well, because the event energy for the Ghostbusters is its own energy, so you can't use it on anything else anyway. So building up a Ghostbuster team is not going to be a waste of your time, because you're still going to have your regular campaign energy that you can use in your Glyph Hunt, your Piptown. You're still going to have your Monolith energy, which you can only use in the Monolith campaign. So I think that it works perfectly fine for if you are new to unlock them at 2 to 3 stars. I think that it's a bit unfortunate. I think that the Ghostbusters are kind of going to come and go because they're locked into this event. It's going to be very, very hard to get them, and nobody needs them for any particular reason. We'll see if they end up being required for anything when raids get released, but if that's the case, then Gameloft is going to have to make them a little bit more accessible, as they will some of these other characters. Any requirement that they put in the game basically ensures that whatever the characters are that you need for that requirement have to be accessible, right? So if they introduce a raid that requires Ghostbusters, the Ghostbusters will have to have become accessible by that time. Does that make sense? Egon helped me with the level 61 ninjas as a guild shared hero with a free-to-play Go Busto, Aurora, Ice Glider, Locust. I got super far, and if I didn't have Egon on my team, wouldn't have enough damage. Wow, so there you go. So for EMZ, he's saying that he used his own free-to-play team plus somebody's friendly Egon, right? In order to deal with some of that anti-stealth synergy, in order to add some of that anti-stealth synergy onto the team, reducing some pep from his ultimate. Let's see, where is... reduce each of your foes' pep, right? That's a good one. Here you go. Whenever Egon is attacked by a foe who has stealth, he has a chance to reduce the damage done by that person by 50%. That's huge, especially considering how much damage the ninjas do. Kai in particular, Digi J, they do so much damage that the chance to reduce it by half is huge. Let's see, what is his other... I think it's his basic that has the stealth. Here we go, here's another one. His first special ability, Sticky Science, deals damage to the target foe. And then, if a foe has stealth, they are inflicted with defense down. That's obviously going to be super helpful because they get so many buffs. Those ninjas get so many buffs. And then his basic ability deals damage plus bonus damage for each foe that has stealth. So on a full ninja team, after Loathe has taunted, this is going to be a 20% bonus damage, so it'll deal 110% damage rather than just 90. It doesn't have anything to do with the spooky, though, because the ninjas aren't spooky. There you go. EMZ says, reducing the pep prevented Loathe from stealthing on the second wave and pretty easily got Naya out. That's excellent, dude. Yeah, if you can avoid Loathe's stealth, whether it's through a disarm or a stun or just reducing his pep, that's a very, very big move. A very big move. Well, I think I have enough Brickspedition currency now to purchase the set tools. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I think we've got one more arena battle to do before we end the stream for the day. We are going to go back in and try this castle team one more time. But we're going to use a slightly different strategy than we used the first time. We still are going to focus on Barnabas because he is fast enough that he will taunt before we can target a whole bunch of other people anyway. But we're going to start with Argenta's super special. And by the time we get to his turn, we're going to be putting the stun on him from... Okay, still looking okay. We're going to put the stun on him from Redbeard. Okay, now, I'm actually going to taunt with my Valiant because I just want to try and soak up as much of this damage coming from the Highwayman as I possibly can. Look at how many buffs they have. But Barnabas has Dizzy, so he's not countering. Okay. I am going to heal up my Valiant. Now, I'm actually going to wait another turn before using Salty Seas, because I'm going to use this now. Okay. Oh, come on! No! Oh. And now we're going to lose. Oh, we tried so hard. We made such a, dare I say it, valiant effort, and it is clear that we lost already. Oh, goodness. All right, well, now we'll use the Salty Seas to heal up our team. And now we'll just continue to battle through the inevitable. Well, and now we have to focus on... Okay, let's see. Barnabas is locked out of his special, so while he's locked out of his special... Oh, goodness. Okay. Stun you. Okay, he's dead. Now we have nobody to prevent the counter anymore. What a nightmare of a team this is. Can you believe I missed Barnabas by one sliver of his health? That really bothers me. Ugh. 2 minutes left to go, and the Highwayman is just going to one-shot everybody. Just moment by moment, with all of the countering coming in. All right, and we're out. We're done. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining the stream today. That team is terrible and I hate them. And if you have that team, then more power to you. You should run that team because it is a giant pain in the butt and it's very, very difficult to beat, even when you have full control of your characters. So, with that, I'm going to leave everybody to explore the rest of your Sunday. I hope wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing, that you are enjoying it. Go finish your Brickspedition. Go farm those Ghostbusters if that's something that you want. If it's sunny, put it all down and go outside. The sun is good for you. I will be back on Wednesday at 9 a.m. and hopefully by then I will have figured out how to beat that arena team. Stay tuned. It could get interesting. Later, everybody.